Let me tell you something about the story of my life. It starts with feeling lonely, then the thoughts of suicide. Sitting alone in this empty room, I cry, waiting for an angel to visit in the night. I pray and I pray, but the demons don't subside. I wake up in the morning, see my life through my new eyes. The vision is clear, I'm making all things right. Tighten the screws, cause last night I almost died. I'll see you in the morning, I'll save you. Come on, let's talk, just me and you. Something's going on, there's pain inside. We'll figure it out, we'll take the time. I'll see you in the morning, I'll save you. Come on, let's talk, just me and you. Something's going on, there's pain inside. We'll figure it out, we'll take the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It is Thirsty Thursday. Yes, indeed. It's thirsty, very thirsty. Ladies and gentlemen, I am now out here at Liberty University. My wife is graduating, getting her PhD in law, education law. And we got a special guest today, ladies and gentlemen. We got the one and only Regi Hendrix from the group, the Regi Hendrix Band.
The Regi Hendrix Project.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, hey, look, this is also the cousin of Jimi Hendrix, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. And we're going to ask him a lot of questions, get into his life, get into his music, all that good stuff. Also, my brother Coyote's on the show with us today. Yes, indeed. So Regi, man, so tell us, man, what got you into music, man?
I don't know. It was kind of a natural thing. I mean, you know, I have a kind of artistic mind because I'm an artist as well as a musician. So music to me was a natural thing. It was another way. It was a way of expressing myself, and another way when it came to art and anything else too. You know, there's so much to say emotionally and mentally. So got to figure out ways to let it out.
Got you. So for what I heard, man, you didn't get to really grow up with Jimmy, man. You was still a baby at the time, right?
Yeah, I was little, man. I was like 3 years old when Jimmy died. My mother had a picture of him holding me though at one point, but I just, once she passed away, I didn't have access to that picture anymore. I wish I could show it to you.
Okay. So are you the one in the family that's musically gifted?
Amazingly enough, no. Interestingly though, I mean, all of them play something or sing or something, but I'm the only one that plays guitar. I mean, I play, but I'm even left-handed, so I'm the only one that plays guitar. The rest of them play piano or sing or whatever.
Okay. So can you sing? Or you just play instruments?
No, I sing. I actually more of a vocalist than a guitar player.
Okay, all right. So who have you performed with, man? As far as music artists?
Well, I've performed with Greg Howe, who's performed with Michael Jackson. He's performed with Enrique Iglesias. He's performed with some of everybody, and he has his own music too. And Richie Kotzen from Winery Dogs and stuff like that. You know, there's so many people. And Carl Roa from Magic Elf. There's so many people that just and a lot, so many.
Okay. All right, man. So where did we get to hear music at, man? Where's stuff at? Amazon,
it's every streaming platform ever. You can go to Spotify, you can go to Apple, iTunes, you can go to the Apple Store, you can go anywhere Pandora, anywhere you can find music.
Okay. So how many of y'all is it, man? Brothers, sisters, how many of y'all is it, man?
Well, I'm the middle kid, and I have an older brother and an older sister and a younger brother. My younger brother actually plays bass, and so we kind of grew up playing together. So, we bounce ideas off each other and, I'd play his bass, he'd play my guitar upside down and stuff like that. Cause like I said, I'm left-handed and he's right-handed. So I'd have to play his bass upside down.
Okay. Oh man. So when was at what age did you start playing? Did you start playing as a child or what?
Yeah, around when I was 10 or so.
Wow. Okay.
And I just picked it up. I didn't have any formal lessons or anything. I just picked it up and started noodling around, till it started making sense.
Right. So you self-taught yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And
Wow,
I
that's
mean,
crazy,
playing
man.
bass too, because like on most of my stuff, I play the bass because I think I told Coyote last week that I live in the middle of nowhere. It's tough to get a bass
Okay.
player out here, so I just play my own stuff until I can get something better.
Got you, got you, got you. So I
Yeah.
guess the rest of you all self-taught yourself too, right?
Yeah, I mean, like art. I mean, I did it in high school and I had an art teacher and stuff like that, but I didn't go to college for art per se. I just became an artist because, like I said, it's an outlet for a lot of emotional stuff. So,
Yes,
when
it
you
is,
can be
man.
distracted, you can't be depressed.
Yeah.
Well,
And the
hey,
man
right,
can,
right. Hey, we got another guest. Hold on, let me in the show.
Morning,
Jamil
morning.
Peterson, what's
Morning.
going on with you?
my other brother from another mother.
This is what's going on.
Hey, nothing much, man. We got Regi Hendrix on the show with us, man.
What's happening, bro?
What's going on, my brother? This is the sibling, the cousin, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. And listen, I got one of your cousin's hoodies in the
Yeah,
house.
man.
You need to get one of these, man.
Oh yeah, I gotta get one. Those are badass.
Yes.
They're on Amazon. I could send you one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So are you a artist as well?
Yeah, I painted this picture behind me here.
And he's a writer.
Oh wow, okay.
And
Yes, he's a writer.
that's you right there.
I see. You can see the family resemblance, can't you?
Wow. So you do graphic design and you perform.
Yes, and I write books as well.
Wow.
Huh.
That's amazing. It's a whole panel full of talent going on here.
Right.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'm the white sheep of the family.
I mean, the rest of my family, they all do stuff too. I mean, there's some who are artists, some who are musicians. But like I was telling them earlier, most of my cousins and stuff like that, they play piano. They don't usually play guitar. I'm the only one that actually plays guitar, and I'm left-handed. So, it's one of them things where I kind of felt I needed to do it.
What was it? Was it something that kind of, was it genetic or did he influence you, or you know what I mean?
Honestly, I think before I even knew that I was related to Jimmy, I was playing guitar.
Wow.
So, but once I realized that, I was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. He's even left-handed, so at least it made me feel less awkward about being left-handed.
Wow.
Huh.
So
Yes.
hey, listen, I got a question. Do you have a favorite song of his? Like a favorite out of all the great classics?
Well,
Like,
actually,
your
I
favorite.
do, but see, that's kind of a weird question because I like a few of them equally, but they influence me differently. Like, for instance, I like to sing "All Along the Watchtower" because it's the most vocal song. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff happening in that song. But I like to play "Hey Joe," which is why I'm redoing "Hey Joe." And I like the groove of Spanish Castle Magic. So those three songs are the ones that make me go, now I understand why he was famous.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know that All Along the Watchtower was the only top hit that Jimi Hendrix ever had.
Yeah. And it was written by Bob Dylan.
And it was a Bob Dylan tune.
It
I
basically
never
was a
knew that.
cover tune, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I
As
didn't-
talented as he was, you'd think Purple Haze or, Hey Joe, any of those would have been in the top 10, never made it.
Well, if you listen to the way they're put together,
Mhm.
and especially like Hey Joe, the subject matter is a little questionable. You know what I mean? And I'm going down to shoot my old lady because I caught her messing around with another man. That's some questionable material at the very least. But All Along the Watchtower, if you listen to that song, it's like the one that has the most stability to be mainstream. And that's why it was.
Yeah, true.
Wow. So I got another question. What do you think? Like your opinion on how you think he would feel about the music genre today, like performance today in this modern day? You know, like how do you think he would feel about the music? And do you know any artists of today that he would be inspired by?
Okay, so question one, what I think he would think about the music today, I think he'd be kind of disappointed because all things considered, the guitar hero has died. There isn't anybody that's walking around playing guitar like he used to, and like there was guitar solos, and there's not a lot of guitar solos in music today.
Right.
Not only that, I mean, there's people who can play guitar actually leaps and bounds better than Jimmy could when he was alive because technology has changed, all kinds of things have changed. So he would be a different guitar player too. But I think that overall music has taken a change that doesn't include a lot of guitar playing. So that's question one. So anybody who I think he would be inspired by, there's some cats around that can do some things. But I don't know that I think that he'd be inspired by anyone. I think people would still be looking to him because I mean, there's people like John Mayer, right? John Mayer, he's a great guitar player and he has a great voice. But I don't think that he's good enough to have inspired Jimmy. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's vice versa. You know, Jimmy inspired him. So there's some cats that can do some things, man, like Steve Vai and Joe Satriani and people who can just really play.
Joe Bonamassa.
They're also not in his genre. You know what I mean? They're outside of what he's trying to do. So I don't know that he would be looking at them for inspiration. Maybe just technique.
Okay. Now are you inspired by any
yeah, I mean them guys are serious. There's like Greg Howe, who probably, like in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, Greg Howe is probably one of the best guitar players on the face of the planet. But he's like so underrated. People don't know he's around, and you know, because he's a musician's musician. You know, the stuff he plays, only musicians really get it. And then there's, you know, again, Satriani and Vai and Gary Howe and Andy Timmons, you know, people who really play, you know what I mean? But they play, they know their instrument really well, and it's all, you know, it's all technique based and technique driven. And like I said, I think on the last podcast with Coyote there, I'm gonna leave that to them because I ain't one of them. I can play, but I don't play like that.
Right. So where could you let's say if I want to look you up, I want to check out some of your work, where can I go? Like,
you can go to Spotify, actually. You can go to Spotify and look up the Regi Hendrix Project. And
okay.
That's the album that I put out. And I'm redoing Hey Joe. I'm adding some hip hop to it. I'm adding a little bit of a cowboy feel to it. So but the reason for that is because we're going to shoot a video in a Wild West town called Saloon Studios in North Carolina. We're going to film it like an old cowboy movie. We're going to do Hey Joe. So that's the reason for the Western feel of it. When you hear it, you'll know exactly what I mean.
Wow, that's gonna be legendary right there.
That's the goal. The goal is to just make everybody say, okay, who is this guy? And why is he doing this?
So the book, like, when do you think this year, 2024, like your book?
Well, I've written a couple, but I'm not totally done with the one that I'm working on now. It's a book called Samwell. And it's about a guy who is a homeless person who had just a really bad life. It explains why he's homeless and stuff like that. It's an ugly duckling story. So he's a really huge guy, cataracts, you know, messy hair, broken teeth, stuff like that, because he, you know, lived pretty hard. And has lost his family, his wife and kids to a rare blood disease. And so that's the thing that made him homeless, because he couldn't emotionally handle it. And so in his wanting to see them so bad, he kind of willed himself to grow wings to go to heaven to see him, so to speak. And that's what that book is about. His ability his mind being strong enough to will him to grow wings so he can go see his family. But of course, the only way you can go to heaven is die. So since he didn't, I want to turn it into a series where, you know, he's kind of like an urban superhero where he, you know, helps people out with those wings. He's not just, you know, hanging around here with wings looking weird. You know what I mean?
Right. So did he? So did he? Is there a positive ending to that?
Well, yeah. I mean, the positive ending is that he decides to stay around and help people. I mean, his goal is to make sure everybody's okay. I mean, and his story starts off tragic, absolutely, but it ends up where he wouldn't want to live any other way than to be able to help people.
Awesome. Because, you know, you got those stories, you got you know, like some great books, some great novels, some great movies and stuff. And when I hear those deep stories, those painful things and trials and tribulations, things that I can relate to, when it doesn't end good, like I usually want them to come out, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a good situation, especially after all the heartbreak, after all the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it leaves you feeling some kind of way when it don't end right. You know what I mean?
Yes, I'm like, can this guy get a break? Can he get a break?
Right.
So, can we take him to Red Lobster for the first time? Okay, he started out homeless. He's been helping people. He lost his family. Take him out to get him a good meal.
Right.
He deserves it. Matter of fact, he should own this place.
That's right.
I have to say I was impressed when I interviewed Regi and his spirituality, and I'd kind of like for you to talk a little bit about that.
Well, what I was actually talking about was the idea. I mean, this is some strange stuff to say. Okay, I just want you to. I'm gonna prepare you now. But the idea of God. Okay, God can't be, in my opinion, from a place that He created. If you think about it, because He was here first. So if you say that God created the heavens and the earth, that means God can't be from earth, which in and of itself means that he's an alien, you know, just because he's not from here. But it's bigger than that. I think the problem that we have as humans is thinking that God is holding the earth in his hand and he's saying, hey, Regi, I saw you steal that piece of gum. Hey, Regi, put that gun down. I see what you're doing. You know what I mean? What about the rest of the universe? If God created the universe, he ain't just focused on us. You know what I mean? The universe is a huge, huge thing, and we are just a little dust speck in the grand scheme of the universe. So I think that the concept that people have of what they think God is it falls tragically short of what God actually is.
I mean, think about if you like we are with ants, you know, look how we are compared to them. But if we were at their size, everything would look different.
Right.
So we're kind of like that an atom that makes up whatever. So but God's going to be so much.
That. We're like a proton that floats around an atom, and there's 8 billion of us on that.
And you know, the perspective of God would be a whole lot different.
Absolutely.
That's deep. You know, I've really been like tapped into you know, spirituality for the last maybe about 2 years now. Like I've been deep into it lately. You know, like this is my beads, these things here.
Oh, those are cool.
They all represent different things, you know what I mean? But and it's spiritual for me. It gives me peace. Whenever I have these on, my mentality is the same with them out, with them out, with me not having them on. But spiritually, it does it for me, you know. As far as God, like I believe, you know, there's a higher power, you know, but I'm more spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think like how you were saying, like the way people see God, you know, like I just feel like it's a higher power. I feel like we're born with common sense. We're born, right from wrong. If you put your hand on the stove and it's hot, it's going to burn. Like we're born.
Uh-oh.
We lost him for a second.
What happened, Jamil? There you are.
We got no sound.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Still can't hear you. What happened?
I don't know.
That's Mr. Comedy.
Oh, it sounds like he's back.
There's Tarek.
Yeah, I'm back, man. I'm back.
Yeah. I don't know what happened with
Ladies
Jamil.
and gentlemen, I'm at Liberty University. Once again, Liberty University. My wife is graduating with a PhD in educational law. So I'm trying to I'm trying to hear you all and hear them and make sure I don't miss nothing.
Absolutely, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, what I was talking about though with God is not for nothing. I'm spiritual and not so religious.
That's me.
Because religion is a man-made concept for sure, and it's too organized to be something that I feel like I should be a part of. I mean, and honestly, like people say all the time, Christians have killed more people in history than smallpox, and that's the truth. You know what I mean? And some of the worst people I've ever met in my life were church people. I mean, but I also feel like if you need church to make you a better person, if you need that structure in your life and it works for you, then by all means do that. Because whatever keeps you from being a terrible person to me, that's what you need to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the thing
but you know what I'm going to say, man? I think a lot of people use it as a cop-out, man.
I agree. It's a crutch to be able to say, well, I can do this based on that and blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree. It's a cop out for sure.
If you find the right fit, the right church, to me it's like you're in a spiritual car and you need some spiritual gasoline to keep that car going.
Right.
So you got to stop in at the gas station.
Most definitely.
The problem is you've got so many of these churches now that they're just the preacher's out to get the money and doesn't really care about reaching the people and helping people like they should be.
You guys ever watched Star Trek, the movies, with the Captain Kirk ones back in the day? The movies in the theater though. There was one called what was it called? Star Trek something No Country. It was one of the last ones where Spock's brother was supposedly called by God to the end of the universe. And so he got in the ship with Captain Kirk and they flew to the end of the universe. And he was going to a place where he thought he was going to meet God. So he gets there and this being is there and he's doing this whole thing and he's talking to him. And he asked Captain Kirk for his ship. He said, all I need is your ship. And then you worship me and all that stuff. And Kirk says, hold on a second. What does God need with a spaceship?
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Then the being said, what? And he said, what does God need with a spaceship? And then he got struck down because he asked that question. That's how religion really is, if you think about it. Religion is really like that. When you go against what it is that people are trying to say to you, they will strike you down. They will cast you out, and you will no longer be a part of that when the Bible speaks expressly against that. Because that is literal judgment. We are judging you to the point we feel you don't belong here.
Yeah, and the sinner needs the church, needs God more than anyone.
That's right.
If you think you're above that,
before, love the sinner, hate the sin.
That's exactly right.
You don't supposed to be kicking nobody out of God's house. It ain't your house. You know what I mean? You have no right.
Yeah,
unless it's not his house. Unless you're trying to tell me something, and what you're trying to tell me is that it's actually your house, and that's why you need money. Because, like they said, like Kirk said, why does God need a spaceship? Why does God need money? He doesn't.
And who says that your tithing has to just go to that preacher? Why can't your tithing go to homeless people or the missionaries that are actually going out and speaking to people
Right.
and spreading the word of God? Not for that preacher to get a gold watch and a new car and
And
new
have
boat.
houses around town and where he's the landlord and
Uh-huh.
he's the slumlord because he make all this money, but he don't have to pay taxes on it because he's a preacher.
Right. Yeah, that makes no sense to me. Why does he need an airplane? I have no
Right.
problem if that preacher has a nice house to live in, but he doesn't need a mansion to live in. He
No,
should have a decent car to drive around to go, visit his parishioners and, other people. But he doesn't need a $100,000 car.
right. The rest of us seem to be doing fine without that.
Yeah.
You know,
Why does the preacher need that?
I mean, I got a decent house, but it's a decent house. It protects me from the weather and it keeps me warm. A decent car, like you said, just a decent car. It ain't nothing special. But and why is that not okay for a preacher, a head of a church, to have something? Why should he have something better than you? It's just cause it's a reason for people to be jealous. It's a reason for people to covet your property, and you're not all things that create the possibility of sin within your establishment.
That's why I have a problem with those TV preachers like your Joel Osteen and whatnot, who's always dressed in the fanciest clothes and got all this jewelry and flying around in his jet and all. Why do you need all that? Then that's supposed to be going to help others.
Right. I mean, like the Bible says, money is the root of all evil. If that's true, then why do you need it so bad?
Actually, the specifics of it is the love of money is the root of all evil, and that's the problem. Is people love the money too much.
That's right.
Yeah, I want to be able to have nice things, but I also want the ability to be able to help others. So,
Right.
I hit the Powerball. I have people that I want to help out immediately.
See, there's a lot of things in the Bible that contradict the ability to be able to get rich, though. I mean, like for instance, it says in the Bible that it's easier for a camel to fit through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to go to heaven. So it puts you in a position where you feel like you shouldn't get rich because you don't want to go to hell. You know what I mean? When the reality is it's not about the money itself, like you're saying. It's about what you do with it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then you don't have to be rich to help people either. You could just help people. I mean, like for instance, the reason that I'm doing Hey Joe again is to help veterans. I'm not doing it to make myself any better off, to be perfectly honest. I'm doing it because I want to help people who need help. People who have already helped us.
Yes. Exactly. And have you heard from the Veterans for Veterans yet?
I have not.
Hopefully that'll happen. I'm hoping it happens. I'd love for you to be able to come to Texas and play for them, because
I'd love that too.
I'm making a trip to make sure I'm there.
Hey, if they want me there, I'll be there.
Yeah. So, are you going to be playing any gigs lately?
Yeah, I got July is all full. I got some August, and I'm starting to get some September.
Oh, already into September.
Yeah.
Jeez. Where are you going to be at next?
Next is going to be Portsmouth. I think it's New Hampshire. It's either New Hampshire or Mass. I think it might be New Hampshire. For a veterans event, for a benefit called SWAM, which is Swim with a Mission. I'm going there to perform and promote the song and to try and raise money to help the veterans with the Hey Joe song.
Is there anywhere in particular that's kind of like your dream place to play?
Red Rock.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, man, I love that place. The acoustics are amazing. For it to be a natural outdoor venue, it's pretty freaking cool.
Oh yeah. I'll have to say oh my God, what's it called? Good Lord. used to go there all the time. It's in Houston. It's an outdoor event. That's a pretty good place to go. Last time we went, we saw Stevie Nicks.
Very cool.
Oh my God, that was awesome. I was like, yeah, better go see her before she gets too old to perform or she passes away, because all my heroes seem to be dying, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, I guess it happens. It's hard to be able to put into, you know, words what music has done for the world. You know what I mean? I think like one of the cool guys I think that don't get enough he's underrated for sure. He doesn't get enough respect is Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz is an amazing musician. He has an awesome voice and he writes some really cool psychedelic music. If I had to say that anybody was kind of like Jimmy, it would be him, you know?
Yeah.
Got that psychedelic 70s vibe happening.
You know, surprisingly enough, and even though the music isn't anywhere near Jimmy, Prince could have probably gotten pretty close.
Oh yeah, Prince was definitely an underrated guitar player. He actually was one of the best.
Yeah, I saw him just jam one time, and I was like, I didn't know he was that good of a guitar player.
And speaking of that, and the shows that we do, I'm in a band called Soul of a Legend in Boston, where we actually do music of deceased musicians, basically the ones who were gone too soon, anybody who died before the age of 50, except for people like Prince, who was just legendary even in his own time, and Michael Jackson and stuff like that. So I actually sing the Prince music. I sang, you know, Purple Rain and Kiss and, you know, that kind of stuff. So I also do Marvin Gaye and Otis Redding, and I do the Hendrix stuff. So it's actually a fun band to be in because it's eclectic as far as the music we do. We play Queen, we play The Doors, we play Bowie, and because they just recently died, and who else? Tom Petty. So it's a very cool band.
You know, Tom Petty was my very first concert.
Oh, really?
Tom Petty and Bob Dylan, and that was in 82 or 83. I was pretty young. Are you going to do some Van Halen now that Eddie's passed away?
I don't think we can find anybody that can play that and do it justice anyway. I mean, I kind of grew up playing it, but I think I wouldn't be able to do it justice. You know, I could probably fool some people, but that's all it would be. Smoke and mirrors, man. Smoke and mirrors.
You know, another guitarist that is very underrated, and if I hadn't seen him in concert, I wouldn't have realized how good he really was Rick Derringer.
Oh, yeah. You know, actually, the guys that I play with Rick Derringer.
No kidding.
Yeah, Charlie, what's his last name now? I can't remember. And Ken Mutino, you know, all the guys that I play with, they used to be in the Buddy Miles band, that they actually play for Rick Derringer now.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
He the show that I saw him in, he goes, all right, we're going to go through the history of guitar or whatever. And he would pick a certain guitarist from a certain era and he would play exactly like them. And I mean, to switch styles, number one, and then to be able to play, you know, Jimi Hendrix and then play Eddie Van Halen, and I was just amazed, and it was like that.
Yeah, man, that's talent for sure. Good
So
stuff.
what's going on now, Tarek?
It looks like you're getting some people.
We've never done one like this before. What's going on now, Tarek? Can you hear me? All I see is an ear.
That's all I see.
Well, quite honestly, we usually do more political stuff when we do this show. We decided, hey, let's do something a little different this time. And you know, just met you and really enjoy your music. I'm looking forward to everything that you're doing. and very appreciative that you're trying to help the veterans.
Well, thank you. And when I get my music back from mixing and mastering, the Hey Joe in particular, I will send it to you so you can play it on the podcast.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to that. And Tarek here is he's a veteran.
Oh, is he? Very cool. Very cool.
Yep. And I guess he still can't hear me.
Yeah. We can hear him though. I mean, it sounds like the background where he is starting to pick up. People are starting to move into the graduation.
Move to where you can talk. Can you hear us, Tarek? Come in, Tarek. He needs the headphones.
Indeed, indeed. I'm just in a place where I'm sitting here by myself, so that's good. I locked the dogs outside, not outside, but outside the room.
And how's your wife today?
She's doing well. She actually has a lot of running around she's gonna do. Hey, question: will you guys have a recording of this, or?
Yeah, it actually like goes straight to YouTube. So, if you wanted to right now, if you clicked on it, you could go from the beginning and start watching the whole thing.
Okay, because she wants to see it, but she's leaving in a few minutes.
Yeah, all of his live shows. If you go, did I send you his link to his channel?
I don't think so. Because I gave it to her so she could watch out in the kitchen.
I was gonna say if I needed to, I can send you the link to his channel and you can check out all his stuff.
Please do. Please do.
Yeah, Tarek's a good guy.
He seems like it. His wife's doing well. He's doing well. Graduating from law school, he said.
Yeah, Liberty College with a PhD in educational law.
Very, very cool.
Very impressive.
That is no small accomplishment.
Yeah, we're very proud of Mary. They've gotten to be family. I ain't gonna say like family; they are family.
That's what we're talking about.
And we've lost him again.
Yep.
But yeah, I met him a couple of years ago. He's a comedian.
Oh, really?
I was featuring comedians on my show for a while, and that's how I met Jamil as well. Tarek, he manages a few comedians and puts them out there, and we just clicked from the beginning. And he lives more closer to you than he does to me. He's out in Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, I think Virginia's about 6 hours from here.
Oh man, there you go. Y'all get together somewhere in the middle.
That's not bad. I mean, I drive to Boston all the time, and Boston's 6 hours from here too.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, we are planning on going to Tennessee in the last part of June. And I'm going to have my kids and my mom and everyone with us. But we're still talking about trying to make it out your way.
That wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. At least come for a picnic,
Well, if you don't mind all the company.
I do. Me and my wife live here alone, and we cook like we're cooking for 40 people. It's ridiculous. Almost every night. It's crazy. Don't even know how to cook small.
What's your favorite dish to cook, by the way?
To cook, I like cooking ribs.
Oh yeah.
Because it's an art form, really.
Yeah, you slow cook them all day.
Yeah, pretty much, and smoke them. And then there's macaroni and cheese too. My family had this recipe that's really just yummy that I taught to my wife. Now she knows how to make it, and she basically handles that. But I like like any guy, basically cook a lot of meat. But I can cook anything though, really. I gravitate toward cooking meat because it's more of a, like I said, like an art form. It's more of a specialty. Like smoking a pork shoulder on the grill, stuff like that, doing chicken wings and doing, all that stuff. It's fun. And with charcoal, so you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Not a smoker that you can plug in and time and all that stuff, and it just does everything for you. Not like that. I mean, old school.
My wife wanted to buy me a propane grill. Excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied. And I'm like, I could cook on the stove if I wanted that kind of heat.
It's
I
actually
want
what I say too.
give me charcoal. That's what a barbecue pit's supposed to be, charcoal, or
That's right.
even some good wood or something.
Yep. You got to be able to control that fire. That's what makes you a grill master. If you can control your temperature and make it be what you want it to be, then you know what you're doing, because you can't control charcoal. But there is a way to do it, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the most technical thing on my grill is my thermometer.
That's all that's on mine too. It's like a 55-gallon split grill. It's like one of them with a smoke box on the side.
That's what I have.
Very nice.
We're at to swap recipes or something.
Wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Well, I guess we've lost Jamil and we've lost Tarek.
All right.
So I don't know if he's coming back or not. But man, you do so much, and you're just a talented person, and I'm very glad that we got to meet, and I thank you for your friendship as well.
Oh, you're very welcome, man. You're a good guy, man. I can't wait to meet you in person. Well, just hang out and talk crap and laugh, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm better at talking in person than I am on the phone or on this.
When I'm more relaxed and I don't think like the whole world's watching, like you got in this background here.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly hate talking on the phone.
I don't like it that much either, but I prefer talking on the phone to texting.
That's me, because my wife will text me, and about 5 texts in, I'm like, let's just talk.
I don't. Can I just call you?
Yeah, it's quicker, it's easier.
I think I even said that to you the other day. Can I just call you?
Yeah. It's funny that we get in this habit of texting people and saying, "Hey, can I call you?"
Well, you never know what you're catching somebody doing, though. That's why you have to ask permission.
It's not like the old days. You just took a chance and you called somebody.
That's right.
Yeah.
But these days, the phones have cameras and stuff like that, and so you don't want to catch somebody doing some stuff, the wrong stuff. Not nothing illegal, just getting out of the shower or whatever.
You kind of bring up something that I wanted to ask you about, because technology is definitely making things easier, and you can expand and do all kinds of stuff with technology, but don't you think it's also hurting us at the same time?
Oh yeah, it's definitely socially degrading us for sure. People don't even know how to have conversations anymore because they're texting all the time, or they don't interact in crowds because they got their face in their phone all the time. I mean, the normal complaints that everybody has about technology, I feel the same way. That I liked it better when kids played outside. It was one of them kids, make a homemade crossbow and almost kill each other by mistake. Jump your bike off the porch and almost die. Stuff like that. That was fun.
and we survived it.
That's right. And I think we're the last generation to do it too.
And it helps music in a lot of ways, but it hurts music because okay, you can be at home, be on your computer, and you can do everything you want on your computer. You don't have to go to a studio anymore. And you can even upload to different platforms and put your music out there. But you're also not making the money that you would have like in the old days, selling records and things like that.
Really, there's no record sales these days, once you think about it. CDs are basically obsolete. Cars are being made with no CD player in them, so you don't need that. So basically, streaming has knocked the musician and the record sales right out of the box. Mm-hmm. The only way you can make any money being a musician these days is live shows. You have to tour, because once you release music, everybody has it, and they don't even have to pay for it. I mean, that's the thing. If it's on Spotify, if it's on like I said, every platform known to man, you don't get very much money for a stream. You get like a quarter of a penny per stream.
Gosh. And you know, a lot of bands are really into merchandise. But
Well,
every
yeah,
band that I
you kind
love,
of have to be,
yeah,
you know, because you could get $50 for a T-shirt if you know, if you're popular enough. I mean, you can get $20 for a T-shirt if you're not, because you know, people. That's how much a T-shirt generally costs. So merchandise is the only way you're going to make any kind of money. And during the live shows, you know, you go to a place, put out your stuff, have people physically purchase it. That's literally the only way you make money as a musician these days, unless you have a big record contract where they put your music all over the world, you know.
yeah. What aggravates me is you've got the, you know, the Taylor Swift and all those kind of folks that are popular and making all this money, but I'm getting more and more of the indie type bands. You know, they've got their own labels and doing their own thing, and I'm enjoying their music more, but they're not mainstream.
I was going to say that's where the good music is anyway. I mean, it's always been that way technically. Even like back in the day when record sales were huge and you know people were making money, you got Aerosmith, you know, being millionaires, and you know what I'm saying. Back in the day, the indie labels still had the best music, because to be mainstream a lot of times is to compromise what you actually want to play for the idea of popularity.
Hmm. Which, you know, let's take Metallica. You know, when they started out, and man, I was a huge Metallica fan. And then when they got to the Black Album, which I like the Black Album, don't get me wrong,
Me
but
too.
I could tell, man, it was turning pop.
It had to, in order for
Yeah,
them to keep making money. It had to. I mean, and that really the bottom line, right? People compromise what they're doing because they're trying to make a living like anybody else. You know.
but you isolate some of your fans when you do that.
Well, you do, you do. But that's true of almost anything, though, right? I mean, like for instance, being a musician, you almost can't have a political view.
Hmm.
You should not be involved, because no matter which side you happen to choose, you're alienating 50% of your audience.
Exactly. Which is why I do my show on my channel the way I do it. I try to steer away from political stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm on here, and Tarek, he is as conservative can be, and I can speak my mind here as to where I can't do that on my own channel. It defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to do. I mean,
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody's point of view, but if you pick a side, then you've pissed off, like you said, half of your audience.
Yeah. And it's a conflict of interest if you're trying to capture as many people as you can as listeners or followers or whatever. You want as many people, so can't afford to make anybody mad, you know?
And I mean, my purpose is to help people. I'm
Right. Bring
trying
them
to,
together, not push them
uh,
apart.
want to inspire people. That's why I bring musicians on. You know, a lot of folks will come on and they have stories of all the things they had to go through to get where they were at, and then you may inspire another musician or artist out there. Or I bring life coaches on who are helping folks that struggle with, oh man, you know how it is, your self-esteem or mental problems. There's all kinds of things. That's what the purpose of my show is all about, is helping folks. But
Yeah.
it is kind of nice to come over here and be able to speak my mind from time to time.
Yeah, I know, because where else can you do it?
Yeah, I don't want to alienate my fans, but
Honestly, I think that, you know, a little bit contrary to what I said a minute ago, sometimes speaking your mind is the thing to do, though. Because you know people need to know where you stand sometimes, because
yeah,
you also can't appear wishy-washy. You can't appear to be moralless. You have to take a stand or take a position on things sometimes.
very true. But there used to be a day where it didn't matter which side you were on, people still got along. Now it seems like people are drawing a line in the sand. It's saying, if you don't believe like me, I don't have nothing to do with you.
Yeah, and for some reason they think that's forward movement. It's actually not.
That's regressive, not
It
progressive.
definitely is. It's like going back to the days of the caveman.
It's sad that things have gotten to that point. And
Well, I think to make any real progress, it's going to take somebody to stand up and point out how backwards we're actually moving. I mean, it can be done in a lot of ways. It doesn't have to be done in a violent way or in a protestive way. It could just happen through music. Music is the universal language. Everybody understands music. Everybody likes music. Everybody relates to music on one level or another. Even babies, even animals, plants, everything. Everybody relates to music somehow.
you know, you saw the sentiment of the nation, well, the world, as music changed, and it brought people to rock and roll. It brought people together.
That's right. Woodstock, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Woodstock was the biggest peaceful protest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I don't know that people even remember that it was actually a protest because it was just cool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Or watch those old clips of those bands in the 50s and early 60s where you remember they still had a rope that went down the middle of the auditorium, whites on one side, blacks on the other side, and then you'd see those ropes come down and everybody come together and dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way it should be. Now it seems like they want to put the rope back up again.
And it's crazy because I don't know. I mean, I know people say this a lot, but I'm not sure people actually understand what it actually means. It's like, we're really only one race.
Mm-hmm.
We're different cultures. We're only one race. There is no black race. There is no white race. We're all humans. And that's just the thing. We all live on the same planet. And that's what makes us a race. But our culture separates us. That's it. What we decide to believe in, how we decide to live. You know what I mean? A grass hut versus a wooden house, a car versus a wagon. You know what I mean? That's all it is, though. It's based on geographic location. You know what I mean? On this planet. So I don't understand how people think that we're different races. We're not.
We all started from the same spot.
Yep.
It's just we migrated and moved out. And we changed in color because of where you lived. It was your environment.
The Tower of Babel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. God came and he made everybody speak different languages so they couldn't complete that tower.
Right. And then eventually you run into somebody who could understand you, basically spoke the same language. Then you guys, click together, start moving further and further apart from each other, and then end up populating the whole planet. And then so then you're culturally the same. Now everybody speaks the same language again. It's been ironed out. But and so then the world spins on. But we're not a different race. You didn't change races and changing your language.
That's what gets me. They talk about race, but we are all the same.
Yeah. And like, for instance, you having lighter skin means that, like, ancestrally you were in a colder climate. You had no real need for darker skin because darker skin actually helps block the sun. You have a mustache and a beard because it was colder and it needs to warm your face and protect you. Longer hair, stuff like, you know what I mean? And it doesn't, again, all it is adaptation to where you happen to be on a planet, not a race change.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't suddenly become an alien because you moved to Antarctica, or you know what I mean?
Well, that's why I appreciate Tarek and what he's trying to do. He's trying to break that wall.
Me too, actually. I don't see a reason to judge a person based on a lack of information of that individual. You think you understand people, but the only way to really understand people is to talk to them, no matter where they come from, what they, and then you'll find that it's really interesting, their culture versus yours. why they do what they do, why you do what you do. You know what I mean? Having conversations about stuff. And that's honestly what the Bible is about too. The reason that you're supposed to talk to people about God is to bring you together. Exactly. Different opinions, different cultures, different understandings, and everybody reaching a mutual understanding of what it is you're supposed to be doing on this planet, which is just talking to each other.
You bring up a point. They were talking about speaking in tongues the other day, and some people think that speaking in tongues means that you're saved and you're going to heaven. Speaking in tongues, first of all, was not your mouth being blessed, it was the people's ears being blessed. You go out and you would preach the word of God, and if you were preaching in front of people that you didn't speak their language, how were you going to get the word across? Well, the speaking in tongues was so they could hear in their own language.
Yeah, it was like a universal translator.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
they've missed the point of that altogether.
Right, and not for nothing, the Bible also says about speaking in tongues that to speak in tongues where people cannot understand you is actually out of order, and God is not the author of chaos. So you're not even supposed to speak in tongues in a public forum unless you have an interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
So, exactly. But that means, okay, you're from somewhere else and now you're trying to preach. Well, only way you can do that is if you bring somebody with you that everybody can understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, I'm tired of this division going on. We're all sick of it. I feel that more people feel the way we do than what's being blasted on social media and in the news. And we have to strive to get away from this garbage that's going on.
Yeah, we're just one world, and we should act like that. We should act like we need to protect our planet, not our culture, not separately, individually. You know what I mean? We should act as a planet, not as separate cultures or separate races.
Yeah, but yeah, it makes me sick that I go down to the river, and you've got these people that come in out of town, and they just throw their trash all over the place.
Yeah, I hate that too. I hate it.
It's like, dude, this is the last place here in Texas that you got such beautiful water. Why are you messing it up?
I was riding down the road the other day and just saw a smashed up bag of McDonald's strewn all over the place. And I was like, why would anybody do that? I mean, what is your mindset when you think you should just throw it out the window?
It makes me sick, man. Absolutely. You know, when my wife first started bringing me up here and we'd visit her family and friends and we'd go all the different spots where they're at, I never saw trash anywhere. And then all of a sudden, as soon as we started having people moving in from other states, we started seeing trash all over the place.
You know, I gotta say, New York State actually is reasonably clean, and it doesn't seem like it, but I mean, not in New York City per se, because right. New York City, man, they actually don't even have. They have so many people there. They don't, and they generate so much garbage until there's literally nowhere to throw it. So they literally have garbage bags stacked up outside of buildings, lining streets. Mm-hmm. So because they, all their dumps are full. And they even bring garbage to other areas of New York State to put in dumps because they generate so much trash.
Well, these people really love our planet, and they're trying to be activists and all that. Well, tell these folks to quit throwing trash in our beautiful areas, please.
Right. Put it where it belongs so it can be properly disposed of. That's, and if burning it has to happen, let's do that. But the bottom line is it has to go somewhere, but not in the middle of the street, not in a park, not, you know what I mean? Not out your window. I mean, I know you don't want it in your car, then put it in the garbage. I don't get it. I mean, because you'd think that trash disposal is common sense, but apparently it's not.
Yeah, when you see an almost empty trash can, but there's trash 5 feet away from it on the ground. You couldn't have walked those extra couple of steps and put it in the trash can.
Right. Like they say, common sense is not that common.
That ain't no lie. Well, Reggie, we're at the end of the show. How do folks get a hold of you?
You can find me on Spotify. You can find me streaming anywhere. But I'm also on Facebook as Reginald Hendrix, not Reggie, because my last Reggie got hacked. But that's neither here nor there. But you can find me if you're really looking for me. Reginald Hendrix, Facebook, Spotify. I'm there. And Amazon. You can find my t-shirts on Amazon.
Are you on Instagram?
I am also on Instagram. Yes.
I thought I followed you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, Reggie, thank you so much, man, for coming on this morning. I know you had to make arrangements to be here, and we appreciate that.
Man, it's been my pleasure. I like nothing better than having good conversations with good people. It's rare these days.
I'm just sorry that we had the technical glitches and the guys ended up getting kicked off.
I'm glad I got to meet him, though.
Maybe we can do this again when he's back in studio.
Hopefully I'll talk to him again. I'll try to. Maybe we should try to hook something up when I get the Hey Joe back, and we can reconvene over that and talk about that.
That would be perfect. Do you think you'd be able to play it on the show?
That's the goal. I'll send it to you so you can play it, actually.
Well, let's try to make that happen soon.
Okay. That's the goal, sir. I'm gonna I should probably have it back in the next couple days.
Sweet.
But I'd say give me a week for sure, and we'll give it another shot.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Sounds good to me.
I don't have the closing music, so we're just going to end it like it is.
All right, man.
You take care, brother, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. You too, man. Take it easy.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right.